Drink told me the plan and I say I'm with it. We jumped in the car and went straight to the riches. Yeah, we went straight to the riches. He told me this one gon' bust both of our wrists. I told him he playing, he says no gimmicks. I told him let's get it, I told him let's get it like.
Alright, gangy.
I told him let's get it, I told him let's get it.
I don't think we got that many Tales of Toronto left. But we got Capital P right here. This is the tragic story, so you know this one good, feel me? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm gonna need some new things to react to in a few, feel me? So put some new things in the comments. Feel me? Hit that subscribe button, let's get it.
The suspect apparently professing his innocence online. 3 years after his slaying that shocked our city, Avery Haynes lived how the grief has come flooding back to the victim's mother.
I'm afraid for this day to come. I didn't know the beginning. But the injustice he served, it was never end. It was my life.
Rapper Pierre Oliver Ellis is wanted on a first-degree murder charge in the shooting death of 16-year-old Keon Campbell. Ellis goes by the stage name Capital P.
In 07, under the dropped out ace, the young gun that treated better than my brother, show respect to his mother. Even though there's none back, I love the young plus I never push you back.
I think it's the first time where I've actually had a suspect post a video specifically about the murder.
I give you something to manage, you give me home court advantage. Vern Black, be the black, I did most of my damage. I rep it even when I shouldn't do it. I seen switch sides, but I couldn't do it. Now I'm rolling through the front page of that. Blacks feeling like a cause I did it dirty in that spot. That spot with the 40 cot that heat me GBs like my last Glock. Malls going out in space, won't be astronauts.
Malvern is the name of one of Toronto's most notorious neighborhoods. It is a community largely populated by mixed-income Caribbean and South Asian Canadians who struggle against the crime and violence that has become a commonplace in the area. The neighborhood also has the highest concentration of young people in Toronto. Since the early 2000s, the community has made consistent and successful attempts to improve following Project Impact, in which hundreds of police officers from the Greater Toronto area cracked down on known associates of the Malvern Crew Street Gang, and early morning raids across the city on May 12, 2004. During the raids, 71 warrants were executed, resulting in the arrest of 65 people. Further raids and the implementation of Project Pathfinder would result in arrests of the Malvern Crew's rival gang, the Galloway Boys, located several blocks away in West Hill. Even after these raids, the violence in Malvern didn't stop. Just 1 year later, the city of Toronto would not only nickname 2005 as the year of the gun, but they would list Malvern as a priority neighborhood.
It's been a bad year for gun crime in the country's largest city.
Malvern is not a bad area, we just have some bad people.
In the language of the urban analyst, this is a troubled community. Its name is Malvern. It keeps ending up in the news in stories about violent crime.
It was clear by the constant headlines that crime in Malvern didn't magically stop after the raids. In 2005, Toronto media coined the term Year of the Gun because the number of gun-related homicides reached a record 52 out of 80 murders in total, almost double the 27 gun deaths recorded the previous year. 2007 saw another wave of gun violence, and these events raised calls for a ban on handguns once again. Out of the 10-year record 86 murders in 2007, half were via firearm. During the Year of the Gun, veteran documentary filmmaker Alan King brought his camera crew to 110 Impringham Drive, a neighborhood in Malvern that was hit the hardest from gun violence during the Year of the Gun, and followed the efforts of Brian Harvey, who is a community activist who works with at-risk youth and imps, setting up tutoring programs, after-school activities, free breakfasts for lower-income children, and other programs in an effort to make a better life for young people. Throughout the documentary, Brian emphasizes that the youth in the streets have to change their own minds about guns and gangs before their problems can begin to resolve themselves.
It has to be Brian and it has to be Chris. You know what I'm saying? You have to show up on time, you have to pay attention, you have to respect the people that are trying to teach you. people that follow you, man.
Every time someone's around me, man, someone's talking about me, I'm saying the wrong thing, I'm making a mistake. It's a struggle, man. It's like hill, get over that hill, there's the next hill, over that hill, there's the next hill.
The 2006 documentary closely follows Brian Henry and his program launched with the help of the Toronto Catholic School Board called Real Opportunities for Success in Education, aka ROSE. The ROSE program consisted of several at-risk students committed to changing themselves for the better. This included a young 15-year-old boy named Keon Campbell. Campbell lived with his mother, Sandra, and was her only child. Their townhouse unit was a popular hangout for kids in the neighborhood, in part because she made it so hospitable. Activist Brian Henry lived just 4 doors away from Keon with his wife and 4 kids. Campbell is shown excelling in the documentary and had continued on to grade 11 at Mother Teresa Catholic Secondary School. He was doing awesome, says Henry, who spoke with his principal and teachers. They had nothing but good things to say. While Keon was known to police at just 15 years old, Henry emphasized it was only because of where he lived. You can't live in Impringham and not know police or criminals, period, said Henry.
Back on December 2nd in 2007, Keon, just 16 years old, walked out the front door of his house and came out to start the car for his mom, who was going to drive one of his friends home. He was gunned down. He managed to make his way back into the home where his mom found him bleeding to death in the hallway.
On December 2nd, my witness, I would never like to witness again, and it just played back. Oh.
16 years old, walked out the front door of his house and came out to start the car for his mom, who was going to drive one of his friends home. He was gunned down. He managed to make his way back into the home where his mom found him bleeding to death in the hallway.
You think Capital was trying to rob the car or something like that? He wasn't having it. I'm trying to assume what possibly could happen. You think he trying to rob him? But that's a little kid, you know he don't got no money, so he probably trying to rob the car. Feel me? Hold on, let's get it. Let's get it. This one to get good, boy.
On December 2nd, my witness, I would never like to witness again, and it just played back all the time. And all I have to live with is my pictures and my memories. Oh God. Even when justice is served, it was never end. It was my life.
23-year-old rapper Pierre Oliver Ellis is wanted on a first-degree murder charge in the shooting death of 16-year-old Keon Campbell, also known as Ace.
Yeah, capital P. Step my game up right now. Welcome to the hood story. Clapping for the glory. 257 shell karmic.
Like, that's not gangster whatsoever, though. For me, that's not tough or nothing, bro. That's a little 16-year-old gang, and you killed him, feel me? And he was doing good too, feel me? Kid was actually smart, feel me?
Plus I'm gunning for the top. 2 blocks, red beam, airing out this.
Pierre Oliver Ellis, aka Capital P, is a Malvern-based rapper reigning from the 110 Imps neighborhood along with Keon. He is the oldest of 3 brothers, Christopher, and twins Malcolm and Malik. Sources say the twins were the closest with Keon and that Capital P treated him like another one of his younger brothers, but that did not stop Toronto police from marking him as the sole suspect in the death of Keon. Capital P made the RCMP's wanted list for murder, and authorities had searched for him for almost 2 years until he decided to surrender. Once arrested, Toronto police were notified that in 2009, while on the run, P was reported to have been involved in violent break-and-enters in Alberta, in which homeowners were held at gunpoint and burned with hot metal in at least one instance. Prior to being placed on the most wanted list, Capital P would post 2 videos in which he eulogizes his younger friend, describes sleeping over with him, and says he never pushed his wig back, a reference to shooting someone in the head.
I like this nigga shit. Hope you ain't really did it. Come out and keep this shit popping.
Over with him and says he never pushed his wig back, a reference to shooting someone in the head. He also claims he warned Keon to slow down, but the boy wouldn't listen.
This is real bars, I'm about to spit on this track. In 07, my little dropped out. I love the young nigga, plus I never push his wig back.
Toronto police noted that they have been aware of these videos for some time. One detective said, "I think it's the first time where I've actually had a suspect post a video specifically about the murder, and that's something that's in our possession. It'll be up to the Crown Attorney whether they want to use that in the court proceedings." During a live press conference, Keon's mother, Sandra, cried for Capital P to surrender. "Do the right thing," she said. "It's been 3 years. We think we've had enough pain. Why make us go on any further with this? Let's just get it to the courts and let justice be served. And that's all we ask for." P would contact a lawyer and surrender shortly after the broadcast. Toronto Staff Sergeant Callahan said he was unaware why Mr. Ellis decided to turn himself in, adding all he knew was that police received a phone call from Mr. Ellis' lawyer, Liam O'Connor, saying the man would appear at the police station the next day. By 2013, P would be released from custody as the Crown was unable to prove any of the charges they hit him with, but his troubles were sadly just beginning. By the time Capital P was released, his brother Christopher aka C. Jules would be arrested on unknown charges and be detained for nearly 4 years. During this time, Malik aka Lil Mel, one of Capital P's twin brothers, would begin making waves in the underground Toronto rap scene. In 2017, he released his debut single Hit the Block, which surpassed 200,000 views with ease. Mel's success was rapidly rising and his name was becoming known. However, with the love also comes the hate, especially when living in the Screwface capital.
We now know the identity of the city's latest murder victim. Toronto police have released this photo of 21-year-old Malik Ellis. They say he is the man killed in a terrifying targeted attack in a Scarborough apartment building, with the killer still at large.
A targeted attack. The suspect escaped after firing a blaze of bullets in the third-floor hallway. This witness was led away by police, his hand bandaged.
I believe that individual is related to the victim and may have smashed some glass in anger once he found the victim had been shot and killed.
On a Sunday morning 5 years ago, aspiring rapper Malik Lil Mel Ellis was on his way to his Scarborough apartment laundry room with his girlfriend when he was ambushed and shot 15 times in the hallway. He was just 21 when he was killed. Ellis's girlfriend told police they'd celebrated her 18th birthday.
So she ain't get shot either? She ain't get shot either? I thought they both went down to the laundry room, right? But she didn't get shot? Only him?
When he was killed. Ellis's girlfriend told police Scarborough apartment laundry room with his girlfriend when he was ambushed and shot 15 times in the hallway. He was just 21 when he was killed. Ellis's girlfriend told police they'd celebrated her 18th birthday the night before and Ellis woke her up to come with him to get their laundry. When they came out, they both noticed a man walking down the hall and glancing over his shoulder. "Who is that?" they whispered to each other. She went ahead into the stairwell to head downstairs, but Ellis didn't follow behind her. Instead, as the door closed, she heard a burst of gunshots. At first, she was frozen in shock, but when she finally came to her senses and opened the door, she found Ellis bleeding and lifeless on the ground. As she collapsed and started screaming, she saw someone running away. It was the same young man in a hoodie she noticed just moments before. In September of 2021, Ontario Superior Court Justice Michael Brown found Henrik Sherlock Mabratu, 28, guilty of first-degree.
Oh no, man, I just don't really trust females, gang. I just don't trust females. I just don't really care. I always just think something is just something. Like it's just something.
Murder, 8 years after he evaded another first-degree murder charge involving another cold-blooded killing in Scarborough. It was revealed in court that Mabrata left his girlfriend's Mississauga apartment at 9:30 a.m. on December 3rd and returned 90 minutes later. In that short time, he drove to LSS building at Eglinton Avenue East and Markham Road, lay in wait for him to exit his apartment, killed him, and then fled the scene. There was no motive presented at the trial. Was it just another beef between neighborhoods or rappers? No one seems to know.
That's a
Although the courts were unable to find a motive for the death of Mills, the streets were talking. It was found that Sherlock was a member of the Chester Lee gang located in the area surrounding Victoria Park and Finch Avenue, but Toronto police alleged that the gang's criminal activities extended through Toronto, the GTA, and the rest of the country. Once incarcerated, Sherlock would immediately reap the consequences of his actions, as he would be involved in a violent fight with other inmates and subsequently stabbed in one of his eyes. Sherlock is currently incarcerated and serving a life sentence.
All right, we begin with breaking news. Back to our story. One person is dead after a shooting in Scarborough.
Now, CB24 is live on the scene. Police are telling us that officers were called to this home overnight on Blacktop.
So, this 16-year-old kid that died in the beginning is just like water under the bridge now? Like, that is like, fuck that shit, basically?
Drive near Meadowvale and Shepherd. Investigators say the male victim was pronounced dead on the scene. At this point, there is no word on any suspects. You can see the investigation started overnight. Stay with us here on CB24 for the very latest on this developing story.
In a tragic turn of events, just 2 months after Lil Mills' killer was sentenced to life, his twin brother was executed in a Scarborough home. 2 weeks later, Toronto police would inform the public in a news release that 23-year-old Jovane Watson turned himself in and has been charged with the murder of Malcolm. Not much is known about the history between Jovane and Malcolm, but sources say Jovane has a lengthy criminal history. In fact, he was one of 6 people arrested for the Raptors parade shooting back in 2019. He is still currently awaiting trial and has yet to be sentenced in the death of Malcolm.
Yo, what the fuck? No. Capital P has to go crazy. What the fuck? That shit don't make no sense, man. Shit don't make no sense. So charges is dropped for the little kid because they couldn't find no evidence. So Keon's out of here. Both of his twin brothers is dead, so I believe that's the karma for taking Lil Homie. You lost both of your twin brothers, right? Yo, Capital P gotta get back, man. This is karma, though. It's karma. It's karma. But you gotta get back. It's 0-2. Technically, it's 0-2. 0-2. You should have never robbed that. You should have never robbed that little boy. It's karma. Feel me? It's karma. It's karma. Look at it. It's good. It's good. It's good. Alright. Yo, gang, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You already know the vibe. I'm on to the next one. The next one right here, the deadly war in Toronto, Jane and Finch. Feel me? Hit that like button, gang. You already know the vibes. You give life a new meaning when you dreaming. It's your boy Dream. I'm out of here, gang. You see this one right here? Tell the Toronto the crazy story of Flipper. Feel me? I can tap in with that one. I got cash. Feel me? Feel me? I'm out of here, gang.
Fake niggas, we don't do those. Fake niggas, we don't do those. We don't do those. Heart cold.